USA, round 12 this season, the penultimate round. We are here in America. I'm joined by Milo Gaming for the penultimate round. Milo Gaming, how are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Back in the USA, where Tier 2 had their first ever race. So I'm looking forward to this. A very common track now for ARL, so I know a lot about it, of course.
Provided a good finish last season. Let's talk about Tier 3 first. Let's talk about Tier 2, and then I'll talk about the point situation and everything else. We already know Mr. Boker's the champion for that first, but let's talk about Tier 3. Davis took the win, and America won 2 with Davis and Tommy Karate. That's a big deal for that tier because, in fact, there's only been 2 nationalities that have been to the top spot of the podium this season in Tier 3. So, you gotta look at all the facts and just stuff in general. That race, it would matter what area you were on at the right moment. Like Tier 1, but just a 25% race. How did you look at that race in Tier 3? I don't know if you watched it or not, but if you did, how did you look at it?
Well, firstly, I know that Davis absolutely dominated. He's proved himself now in the dry, in the heavy rain conditions, and he is set for a very good ARL future wherever he may be next season. So, a very good job from Davis. Tommy Karate as well on the podium again. He's got a point to prove. Another driver on the podium, if I'm correct in saying that. And then Ollie Mason, a race winner, and now once again on the podium. So a race where a lot was proven. I got your message.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. Ollie Mason came back for the first time on his wheel, and he came back and did very, very well. Congrats to him on that podium for McLaren. McLaren kind of needed that, to be fair. And you could just tell he was happy about that because, especially after his win in Australia, he did absolutely nothing in the races. He was not well, was not finishing well at all. It was nothing. Nothing for him at all, and that's not what helped him at all because he was not in a good position. So, with all that being said, this turns to Tier 2. We had, by the way, down the square, P7 finish. Good job to him. Honestly, very skillful race for him. Very proving race of what will happen next season. And something with the bonfires and the wet. I like that. Very interesting by them because it's interesting that Axe, I look at his time trials. He's out of the ARL drivers, he's probably second or third out of the guys in the, wet sessions. So, I mean, kudos to Axe for doing well in the wet. And kudos to Dominant Square for carrying that kind of, carrying it in the family, I guess. Kind of carrying it over. And him doing good in the wet. Really worked out for him. As well as, Senku took his best finish, P4. But back to Tier 2. Not a good race from you, Milo. Speak about the battle up front because Patriot took his first ever win for Racing Point, and that is where Racing Point took their first ever win as well, back in Tier 2 last season with Riles.
Yeah, very, very good start, and obviously Patriot was on another level. Pole position, and just controlled the pace out front, and a really deserved win from him. And like with Davis, Patriot has proved himself now, and I'm sure we'll have a very good Season 3 if he does choose to stay on and remain competitive. Pluto as well, crucial second place for him, and I had to say it in that voice because him he made contact. There's no more drivers' championship rivals really in this tier. There's still a lot to play for the lower positions, but their contact was huge now for the final round because the gap was closed to 14 points. So Pluto kept his cool, came home in second place. Crumply Tripodder is reserving today. Again, another podium on the boards for him. He's been doing so well in his debut 2 races, so I can only congratulate him. Obviously, I cruelly took the win away under the safety car restart last week, which was unfortunate for him. I felt bad, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to his performance because look, it's already second and on the front row currently in Tier 1.
Yeah, that's amazing actually. I was gonna say as well, as Rappalucas goes to the top of the board. I was going to say, it's very interesting to think about yesterday because Pluto and Kagoda's contact actually kind of provided a little post-race interview that we love to see. You know, I mean, back at Tier 1 Bahrain, we tried to avoid... Oh, we tried to avoid...
Oh god, no, not now.
We tried to avoid... Oh my god. We tried to avoid any post-race arguments and stuff like that. We tried to avoid all that, and we did at Bahrain. We avoided all that with Rappalucas and F1 driver. We know how angry those two drivers were after that race. Kagoda, Pluto, those two weren't happy with each other after some of the comments made, and Pluto wasn't too happy. Nor was Kagoda with him. So this is big for the championship finale. 14 points between those two. And I find it very interesting that these guys go into Brazil that way because those two are not going to be happy with one another in Brazil. It's not going to go well. Why do I say that? Because everything's on the line between them. This is now or never. This is the guy, both those guys could go up to Tier 1 next season. Think about the rivalry. I mean, we saw them collide in Singapore. We saw them collide this week. What could happen in the future? What could happen for the finale? We'll have to find out. And good job to Cody as well, going up to P3 with Sam Steed as well. P4 for him. Was gonna say as well, there was a few other things from Tier 2 that I noted. Not a good race from Red Bull. Riles with that 3-second penalty still down there. And no penalties in that race from GSR Patriot and Matty Mumu. This race last season, Milo, had penalty worthy. Nobody picked up no penalties. Rappalucas picked up the least amount at 6 seconds. So, or 3 seconds. Wow. What am I saying? But yeah, tell me about that then. With Tier 2, how interesting that is with those non-penalties from Matty Mumu and Patriot.
Two very consistent drivers yesterday, I have to admit. And now that neither of them got no penalties in a 50%, I assume that statistic of everyone picking up penalties in Tier 1 last season will change today. So it's whoever can remain the most consistent and within the white lines and on the black stuff, as they like to say.
Very interesting race for sure. That's something we'll definitely know for a while. Patriot first guy to win in 2 different tiers, Tier 3 and Tier 2. Definitely proving why he should have not been in Tier 2 for sure. Anyways, this was the race you made your commentary debut last year, Milo. This race last season. This race has a lot of history behind it. That's kind of why it's in the schedule. This track so much history within the league. Tell me about that last race last season from what you know from that.
A memorable commentary debut, cannot lie. We saw the F1 driver safety car incident at this corner where Rumbly Fungus is, turn 11, if I'm correct. Obviously, NUFC Ryan, first win and only win in what was a thrilling battle to the end. It went all the way to the last corner and certainly one for the history books, and a circuit I do enjoy for qualifying. Obviously, the times are reducing rapidly this season with a lot more competition. And another thing as well, we'll see a comeback drive from Mr. Boca and Jab today, hopefully, and that will give us some even better entertainment. So I'm looking forward to this once again.
In fact, keep in mind that last season, F1 driver, or not F1 driver, NUFC Ryan was actually the first driver to do a spin and win in this race. Keep that in mind. He spun up the last corner, a little tag from DW. He did a spin and win. He still won the race, and it was off of penalties. So, tell me about that one. That one was great. Anyways, Constructors Battle. Let's go to that quickly before we get to the end of qualifying. The end of qualifying. Cloudy session. Not as much glare. People, I think, enjoy that. Anyways, Renault, 240 points by them in the constructor standings. Behind that, Williams, 200 points, 40 points behind. In order to win the Constructors' Championship today, Renault needs to outscore Williams by 5 points. Mr. Boker starting from the back, deciding to start from the back. Graham down in 10th right now. You have Resonate Lord, CCRL Signs making his first ever start in this league. Crumpy Tripod, first ever Tier 1 start ever. And he was a reserve a few weeks ago in Tier 2. You also have as well Rappalucas up in second. You know, he got a podium last season because of the amount of penalties he had. Wasn't many. And because of that, I'm telling you, he could possibly do something good in this race. Remember, I remember from being at a party with him the day at Canada, he was like, oh my god, these track limits. But he gone on to win off of penalties in general, and because of the track limits. He gone to get a podium from this because of post-race penalties and the track limits. So, don't be counting him out for sure with these track limits. He always gets good finishes off these track limits. I'm telling you, Lucas always does. Championship battle though, Milo. Obviously, Boker's drivers champion, constructors champion though. Renault, Williams, they're the only two left, but there's still that battle for third place. Toro Rosso, Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, Racing Point, and Red Bull, all very close for third through seventh.
Yeah, I'm really just looking at it now. I'm really liking that third place battle, because we've seen some shock results from some of them, especially the Ferraris now with Ricochet and Sam. Brilliant team, and I'd honestly back them all the way to get third if it was possible. Atlantis not so enjoying the game in these last couple of weeks. Rizone as well. I think he's using off ABS, so at this stage I'm going to back them because Ricochet's qualifying pace, his provisional pole as we're about to start the final lap. I'd back Ferrari to take third, like I've said. Alfa Romeo as well. Polo went for the gamble at Monza, worked to some extent. Everyone caught him up though on those fresher and softer tyres. Whether he'll be able to fish out another good strategy today, as well as the F1 driver, they're still very much in the hunt. Racing Pointless memes early on in the season, they bounced back with Jack at the wheel as well. Was in contention for wins.
Alright, so now the checkered flag is about to be complete soon. It's complete on our side, but we have some outlaps still being complete here. And yeah, Utah Elephant said Ricochet has improved massively for sure. His qualifying pace has got better, but he just needs some consistency to be able to get himself up in these races. Jack and the Racing Point is on a lap. Behind that, Axe is coming to the line right now on his lap. Well, actually outlap. ABS Jarv actually goes up to 4th place. An amazing qualifying by him. In the Mercedes, they're trying to improve the constructors because they're sitting second to last. The Williams behind, Resonate Lord coming to the line, sitting down in last with an invalid lap time. Behind that, Rizone is going to go P10. The Alfa Romeo Polo God, 3/10 up. Can it be a top 10? It cannot. It's invalid.
Rapper's next.
This looks like a possible pole time. Off the fallen corner. It is!
He has!
131.1! Behind that, complete tripods, complete the checkered flag already. Ricochet, Sam Ricochet. Ricochet's a 10th up as well. He almost lost it off of turn 19. He loses it off the corner! Oh, not enough! Sam stays 7th.
He was invalid.
Lucas is looking for his first pole. Atlantis, only a 10th up. Behind that, the Alfa Romeo of F1 driver. Can it be a second pole position this season? Atlantis goes 13th. F1 driver pits. The Racing Point of Jack. Don't forget about him. 2/10 up. He couldn't make last week. It's a question if he can make next season. Jack coming to the line. It's pole.
In the 1 minute 30s. What a lap.
Axe as well coming to the line in 16th place right now on the boards. Can it be top 15? It's top 10. It's top 5. AMS Tax goes 8th. Behind that, there's a Haas of such shade 25. He's going to go 13th. Behind that, Resonate Lord and the Williams making his first start. He's going to go 7th. This is what Williams need for the Constructors' Championship today to extend that gap. Well, actually gain on them. Rizone still left, but it is going to be Polo got his 12th. It's going to be Jack on pole. Rapalucas a front row. And oh boy, how the tables have turned. Both Racing Points top 5. ABS Jarv 6th. And as well, you had Resonate Lord in his first start 7th. Wow. Got some underdog starting spots here.
Without a doubt. And Jack has absolutely blown away the field to some extent. A pole position here. Ralu's joining him on the front row as well. And what will be, I'm sure, a feisty battle. Ricochet, I know he comes up with some good race setup, so we'll have to watch out for his pace. F1 driver in 4th, GSR Axe, home race 5th place start, Jarv in 6th, recent launch CCRO Science 7th, Cody in 8th on his return, Tax 9th, 2 Mercedes in the top 10 as well, and 2 Ferraris in the top 10 as well. So this 3rd place constructors battle is getting better.
Yeah. Outside the top 10, you have Polo God, Rizone, Graham, Atlantis, Boker, Jeb, William, SU. Some guys you might look for to charge their way through the field, especially Rizone and Boker, 2 proven race winners. B-Nick as well joining us for the race in that McLaren. 20 drivers on this grid. Jab had a quali ban, has 10 seconds added on. Jarv has the 3 seconds added on from last week from a penalty from Spa. So we'll have to find out where they finish even off their penalties. We'll have to look out for them. Boker deciding to start at the back. He's starting 18th. Who won from 18th? Oh yeah, that was GSR Hamilton a few weeks ago in Germany. So that spot might be key for him if he's wanting to win. Should be interesting. Well, 5 seconds to the start of the formation lap. Drivers preparing their setups. Drivers preparing their race strategy. That's what they need. This race had a first lap safety car, not even making it past for the first turn. 3 favorites from you, Milo, at the start of this race, as well as Abinik on Atlantis and Polo God on the mediums.
Yeah, so 3 favourites is hard to choose from this grid, I cannot lie, with all the surprise positions. I'll start off with the pole sitter, Jack. Just flashing back to Germany, quickly. He was on for a win, but obviously the VSC, the speeding penalty, it all just kind of went from bad to worse for him. So this is his chance today to try and get that win before the end of the season. Also, I'm going to go with Rizal. He put a poor lap in qualifying. He starts 13th, but I think he might have turned ABS off or something. I remember him, hinting he's going to try and prove himself with no ABS. So if he can avoid spinning and locking up and locking the rears, then I expect him to come back through the field. And another driver coming through the field, Mr. Bogut, it's his personal choice to start towards the back, but know how powerful the undercut is around here. He starts on the softs, he'll be looking to take advantage of that and maybe even fight for a podium if everything goes his way with safety cars and overtaking manoeuvres.
All depends on that first lap. I'm going to pick Rapalucas here. He did very good with penalties last season. I'm looking at him as a favorite because he can do a lot for Williams if Boker has a bad race. Even if Graham has a bad race, he can do a lot for Williams. Don't count him out, especially off of penalties. Even in Canada, he won off of penalties. I'm going to go with Ricochet in 3rd. Very good quality pace. We saw what he could do in Spa. Since Boker's not up at the front, since John John's not on this race, could Ricochet take himself onto a podium? Would be the first time since Austria Season 1, which was about 4 months ago. You also have GSR Axe back in 5th. He won here in GSR a few months ago. Well, actually, way more than a few. 1 year in GSR for P20 on the grid. He finished best of the rest last season in this race. Finished very well in a good battle with Atlantis. Can Axe possibly get in that top 5 again and stay there? We'll find out. Well, 5 red lights come upon us here in the USA. America, the United States Grand Prix, 5 red lights here in USA. Lights out, away we go. Ricochet gets a poor start, but Jack gets a better one. Jack covers off Rapalucas, 3 wide into turn 1. Jack on the inside line, Rapalucas around the outside. Jack stays ahead. They're 4 wide at the back. A little bit of contact, around goes the Red Bull sideways. That is Crumply Tripod. Through the S's for the first time. Jack with the race lead. Very clean through the S's, actually. Not much side-by-side action. Boker trying to get by Jab. And Boker does. Up to 16th. There goes Resonate Lord. Rizone. All in their Resonate Lord in his first start. Rizone as well. Running no ABS around. JSC Grandma and Jab William SU. Contact with these two last week. Graham around the outside. Rumbly Fungus trying up Polo as well. 2 tenths between F1 driver and Ricochet. The top 5 stayed the same from the start. F1 driver trying on Ricochet. He couldn't make the move there. Yellow flags. That's JSC Graham out.
Graham's been hit.
He goes out of the race
that
already.
on board. There was some lag involved with that.
The luck cannot get any worse for Graham. Polo and Rumbly Fungus. Polo down the inside. Mr. Boker on Such a 20 with the dive bomb. Such a 25 trying back around the outside. Yellow flags again. That's the Toro Rosso of Rizone, I think.
Oh, it's Rizone.
Jack leads lap 1. And purple sector looks like the purple lap anyway. Obviously it was the first lap. Anyways, behind that, Cody actually in a good position running P6. Behind that, ABS driver and AMS Tax, the 2 Finns in the Mercedes. Running right behind there. Rumbly Fungus trying to dive down the inside of Polo. Gets the move done. He's going to go through. Polo on the medium tire. Rizone is pitting. Resonate Lord 3 second. I really feel bad for Graham because that's another race out for him. The luck cannot get any worse. He's had everything go wrong. And Renault, that's 1 car to the race already. Williams have to try to get all they can out of that because Resonate Lord as well crashed as well, and he's already got a penalty. Resonate Lord's still on those stops. I think he hit. No, he didn't. Hit the first stop. And Rapalucas for the race lead on Jack to the outside. Rapalucas trying around the outside. Jack protecting that inside into sector 3. A little bit of lag there from Jack. Yellow flags. That's Trumpy tripod out, and that's a VSC. There's some damage.
He was battling with such he was battling with such J25, so I think they might have somehow made contact into turn 12. Yeah, he has. That's really odd.
I can't tell if Resonate Lord has damage. I know he was near that. He does not have damage. No, he does not. Well, VSC's out. Cody right behind Axe as well. Very close gap under this VSC. F1 driver kind of backing with this pack a little bit to Ricochet. It's a British 1, 2, 3, 4 from them, so good by them. Seven tenths now between them. Jack keeping this lead. Such J25 pits. Mr. Boker almost up to the top 10. Mr. Boker already won the championship. Now gonna go down the inside at turn 1. Mr. Boker goes through at turn 1 with a late break. An amazing move. How about Boker there? An amazing move already in this race. On just lap 3 of the race in turn 1.
He hasn't been hesitant at all, and now he's already right on the back of Sam, who is also following a struggling ABS job, not weaving, but just sliding around a bit in the S's. So the good thing about Coach is you can predict where drivers are struggling. I knew that Adam maybe had some sort of damage and was struggling in the high-speed corners from my experience yesterday. So it's a good initiative to have.
I got word from Graham. It was jab again. Contact between them already. That's what he said. It was on his side of that situation. Jab and Polo battling here. Down at turn 12. Again, side by side again into this sharp left-hander. A bit of contact between the two. Boker got sideways from Sam. That allows Rumbly Fungus to go through by both of them, but Sam's still sticking around the outside.
Side by side
through
turn 18.
He has to back off surely, and he does. And down the inside.
Down the inside.
Goes through Sam and Polo there as well. Polo trying to gain as much championship points on the rest of the field he can, because Sam is actually in that battle for 3rd place in the championship. With him being down 11th, that don't help. Jebel MSU and Polo picking up penalties. Three tenths between the race lead again. Back and forth. ERS, very different. 40% difference between Rapalucas and Jack. This is between the guys in the race lead. Jack is looking for his first win. Ricochet looking for his first podium this season. He had a podium last season. He was one of the guys in season 1 he got a podium. Atlantis goes by Resonate Lord. Now for the race lead. Rapalucas on Jack. Rapalucas goes through.
Whoa, he gave Jack the squeeze there towards the outside. Borderline there, very aggressive defending. But he does hold on to the lead, and 4 cars effectively within a second. It's been brilliant racing so far here at COTA.
Sam and Polo side by side again. The Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari, these two kind of in this Constructors' Championship battle. Jebel MSU behind in the Red Bull, the only full-time driver in Red Bull this race today. Polo goes by Sam and stays ahead, but in front of that, Boker and Rumbly Fungus battle. Can Boker make another move at the final corner? He's going to dive down the side. Lake braking. Boker goes through, but Rumbly Fungus trying to charge back. Atlantis takes a penalty. And now in the front straight, Rumbly Fungus is there. Into turn 1 around the outside. He might try this. Might try the switch back here. No, can't get it. Axe just picked up a penalty through the S's. Cody's kind of corner cut right there as well. Through the S's. So we should be seeing our first pit stops in about approximately 5 to 10 laps. Maybe a little bit less than
pit window for softs is about 7 to 11. 7 if you've won them out a lot in qualifying and you can't really last them longer. But if you've got fresh softs, you can afford to go lap 10 or 11 maybe, and then risk having fresher mediums. So that's when we're expecting the pit stops. The soft runners, medium runners will probably go to 17, lap 18 maybe.
Mr. Boker just got by ABS Jarv there. On the back straight, Rapalucas controls this race over Jack, controls this race over Ricochet as well behind that. And Axe kind of falling without a DRS of the front 4. And they kind of
down the inside goes Rumbly Fungus. Good move on ABS Jarv, but oh, they make contact.
And he's sideways again. ABS Jarv is off the corner. Rumbly Fungus there, turn 19. He might actually go through. He does.
Wow.
AMS Tech side by side with Mr. Boker. But argy-bargy there between the two. Mr. Boker ahead. Attack still with the DRS as well. They both got the DRS. It's going to matter on the straight line speed and the ERS now. Into turn 1. Mr. Boker is going to go through. 18th to 7th already in 6 laps.
Once we have a Max Verstappen start from Russia 2018, there is a yellow flag. It is Atlantis. There's 2 Toro Rossos around in this race. It is a virtual safety car for the 2nd time.
Atlantis is kind of just sitting there. Okay.
Yeah.
Disqualified? You just kind of sat there. I don't know how to explain that one.
Disqualified.
I think the contact with Razone in the first lap was ABS Jarv again. 2nd week in a row for lap 1 contact there with ABS Jarv. Razone, that's what he had said. I believe it was contact with ABS Jarv, what he is saying. That would be the 2nd week in a row, that first lap contact there. Anyways, DRS is enabled. And the gap with Axe and them, Axe is pulled away from Cody. Cody has Boker under attack by him right now. Well, into the final corner, you know how much Boker wants to make that move. He's so far back. He's actually pitting for the undercut. Very early. Boker's the only one who pitted. Well, Axe is kind of caught up as well to this pack now of the front 4. Cody behind that, and Rumbly Fungus behind Tax. Boker pits for the mediums. He's coming out behind Beatnik in that McLaren. So now Milo and Toro Rosso having double DNF. That means their Constructors' Championship chances at 3rd become less likely. Milo, Rickson wants an invite to the lobby. I think he's wanting to race engineer, I'm pretty sure. I'm not too sure. Resident Lord picks up another penalty. It's Milo. Dead. Yep, Milo's dead. Milo, you there?
My
You
batch
dead?
died without bloody warning, not now.
Well, Mr. Boker probably watched the Tier 2 race yesterday, and he knew how powerful the undercut was. When does Rapalucas in the front of the field decide to pit?
Yeah, obviously he's taking the lead now, so he will have to be smart about this and not get undercut, by Jack, Ricochet, F1 driver, all very much in this
ABS Jarvis out!
ABS Jarvis out! That's on the pit entrance, surely.
Safety car.
Safety car! Oh, so they'll come in this lap no matter what then, I'd assume.
I'm just gonna assume now Mr. Boker is in a good position from this. I would think so. All this. He's in a very good position from all this. He's 24 seconds behind the lead. ABS Jarvis out of the race.
A pit stop is so much shorter in terms of on-track time though, under the safety car, so everyone's going to get a free pit stop, and actually, Mr. Boker might not be in a brilliant position because it all depends on how well he controls his delta and maximizes his time.
Elena's DNF was caused by a CBA. So I'm just trying to find out what these DNFs were caused by, because there's 5 in the first 8 laps. So it's not really good. That's not good. Because people just can't be asked with the game anymore, you know, not caring. I mean, it's the final 2 races of the F1 2019 game. I mean, finish it off the right way. Don't finish it off the way just DNFing out of the race or not caring. You know, honestly, I know some people are like, oh, well, people sweat out the game. People, you know, I can't get points anymore or something like that. Some people feel not as competitive. Well, come try to beat them. Come try to finish F1 2019 off the right way. I mean, you know ABS Sharp pitting already was going to be a safety car with this. So, I mean, just think about it. I mean, just, I don't know. Dumb in my opinion to just DNF because you can't be asked. Especially with yesterday as well. Everyone else with it stays out actually. Everyone else with just DNFing because oh yeah, I can't be asked. Oh yeah, I'm not doing well in the race. There was 3 DNFs in 4 laps yesterday. Now in the 8 laps there's 5. That's not acceptable in a 50% race. But look at how much Boker's gonna get the advantage here. Already up to 4th from this safety car. Very, very lucky he got by the safety car. Very, very lucky. That was very, very lucky. He's really not P3 right now. So, right up there. No, so, Atlantis had DSQ'd, disqualified himself, because he couldn't be asked to, sweat for P11, but, yeah, I mean, lap 9 of the race, Beatnik stays out already on the medium tires. Mr. Boker in a good position already up into P4, not P3, all this, so, yeah. So already there's safety car. Let's remind ourselves of last season. F1 driver safety car incident was in that turn exactly, the turn they just gone through. Do you think we'll see any safety car incidents this season, Milo, at least in this race? Because obviously we don't want to see it,
Hopefully
but
not.
It's possible. Knowing
after
how much you back up the pack here.
it was after the US race last season in Tier 1 where safety car rules, it was just right, okay, we need to just write rules on this, and ever since there's been a massive improvement. People actually keeping their distance on the safety cars, a lot less penalties as well, so we've only seen positives from that race. So I'd hope today that F1 driver doesn't back everyone up and cause a pile up within a safety car. Not exactly ideal.
Obviously he's learned from that, you know, that's an illegal overtake, I don't have to pit again, I can, you know, Not worry about that. That was obviously a part of the game. It was not really part of his fault. It was part of the game, but he made a mistake and it's over, of course. That's been last season, but lap 9 of the race. Does B-Nick pit here? No, he does not. He stays out, actually. Polo got gone to the hards from all that. He's actually pitting again here. Axe and Polo have actually overtaken some people to pit here. Axe pits, Polo pits. Axe going on to softs. He made a wrong call there. Why did he go on to softs? Surely gonna finish race. Yeah, X not happy with whatever happened there. I mean, he just I don't get it. And B-Nick, yeah, maybe waiting for another virtual safety car or a safety car to pit. Who knows? He's maybe waiting to the end. Who knows? Because Asian and then stayed out in this race tier 2. Asian gone on to finish 8th, starting 20th. Davis gone on to finish 15th. They were fighting at the front to lead some laps. B-Nick just leading some laps already this season, so you can say he's led in 2 tiers this season. Polo got an AI, Axe an AI, and then safety car.
Probably letting out all of their frustrations over the positions they've just lost over safety car strategy nightmares, we'll call that one. So it should be in this lap.
We have about 4 tickets submitted. Okay, that's not good. 5 actually now.
Oh wow,
not good already. But it's just the way it goes. You're gonna have that in racing. You're gonna have some clean races. You're gonna have some dirty races. It goes either or. But it's just the way it is. I mean, at the end of the game, as the safety cars in this lap, at the end of the game, some people just start to give up. Some people just don't really want to care anymore. Don't want to try to get the best of the championship at the end of the season because some people just don't care. So, I mean, at this point, I just hope people just try to get all they can because Cody, he couldn't. I'll be honest, like he couldn't be asked. He wanted to stop league racing until the end of this game. He's sitting here in a P7 right now, not P6. He's running in a good position right now, so he's doing good after that stuff. B-Nick gonna back up the pack here in the safety car restart. Ricochet's got a 5-second penalty for exceeding the track limits, though. That'll probably be appealed.
Straight 5 seconds for what? This game. Thankfully, we're coming to the end of its cycle. B-Nick will lead us away.
Milo, you take over the safety car restart as he's about to go.
He is. B-Nick leads them away then. He restarts the race then. Lap 11 of 28 in this US Grand Prix. Jack now looks to retake this race lead. Mr. Boca in a net 3rd as well after getting quite lucky with all the hold-ups in the pit lane. Oh, a little bit of lag from Jack as he goes into the back of Rappalucas. Thankfully, no harm done.
Through the S's now on this safety car restart. ERS saving onto that safety car was crucial for these guys because they now have a chance to attack. Touch J25 with a penalty through the S's. Romley Fungus in the back of Sam Seed right there. At the exit of Sector 1 into Sector 2 now. Jack trying to challenge Rappalucas here at the hairpin. Gonna go down the inside. Side by side between the Racing Point and Williams. Rappalucas ahead, but who's behind these guys? It's Mr. Boker under 5s. Right behind these guys. F1 driver and Ricochet as well. Trying to challenge, but Jack side by side with Rappalucas. Will Mr. Boker make it 3 wide? No, he won't. He's too far back. Jack down the inside, side by side. Can he go around the outside here? Rappalucas pushing him off just a little bit. Mr. Boker there to challenge.
He thought about having a look down the inside, but the gap just closed at the last second.
Still between 1 and 2, 4/10 the gap with B-Nick and Rappalucas. The race lead really between Jack and Rappalucas, at least the net P1. And then you have Mr. Boker behind, who got the really big advantage on that safety car. Everyone kind of says, oh, Mr. Boker gets lucky. I mean, that kind of proves part of it right there. Mr. Boker did get very lucky by that because he was going to probably come out around P6, P7, but now he's up in a P4 position. And he's got himself up here from P18. Which, charging through the field the way he did worked out pretty well, to be fair.
I mean, it doesn't really matter where Mr. Boker comes out. He was always going to overtake everyone. He is the champion for a reason, and by some distance this stage in the season, with about 1.5 races to go, effectively. Yeah,
it's still 4 races to go, including today. For Mixer, for race streams, then we move to Twitch possibly. That's the plan, and that's what we plan to do. Rappalucas for the Tristan and Beanick. He wants to get by because he has Beanick in between Jack and him. If he gets by for position, Beanick runs a bit wide here. Rumley Fungus goes by Sam. Rumley Fungus gets ahead.
7 seconds, no, not 7 seconds, 2 seconds between the top two.
Whoa.
7 seconds separate the full field as now Jack and Mr. Boker. Oh my days.
You see Mr. Boker try to go down the inside there. It was never going to work, but he almost got his nose right through there. A little bit of lag from Jack as well. Right behind that, Ricochet challenging, F1 driver behind, as well as Cody running in a good position behind that. Rumley Fungus, same seat in tax as well. And falling out from that strategy was Polo God and Axe.
But down the inside goes F1 driver on Ricochet.
Couldn't make the move there. The S's now. Comes to top 5. Phoenix still leads them away. McLaren leading laps. For I want to say the first time this season, a few penalties picked up through the S's, actually more than a few, probably 3 of them, right there through the S's. That's where most of the penalties come from. You can tell right there. Now down this back straight, DRS will be enabled for the first time. Beanick's going to have to try to protect for this race lead if he wants to lead some more laps. Rappalucas coming now down the inside. Through. Now Jack needs to crucially get by. He can't do that yet.
Oh, Mr. Boker's almost gone in too hot in the back of Jack. Oh, Cody's dropped down the order. Cody is off onto the runoff area. He's got damage.
Jack is by Beanick, and now Mr. Boker diving down the inside of Beanick. Mr. Boker goes through, and now Mr. Boker's up to P3, and not a net P3.
Phoenix lost 3 positions in the space of about 4 corners, which is to be expecting on those dead medium tyres and the tier 2 driver. So he's obviously got the soft tyres to try and make up positions, and maybe even a safety car as well if we get a typical late race tier 1 safety car.
Yeah, it's usually typical here in this tier. You know, like you said, it happens a lot. As pitting is Cody, might have got some damage. He actually goes to retire the car. 6 DNFs already, lap 14. In this race. Pretty tense the gap between Jack and Rappalucas. 5 tenths between Jack and Boker. Now through the S's. Rappalucas on the wheel. The S's I would say is more dominant on the wheel. Such a 25 some more corner cutting penalties for him as he's out of the race.
That's a manual retirement on the S, just the S section.
That's 7 DNFs now. 13 drivers left in this race. Now this might give a chance for almost everyone to get points. We might have a lot of DNFs this race. The most DNFs in a single race was 11 back in Abu Dhabi at the end of season 1. Now for this race lead, Jack is coming down the inside of Rappalucas. He's going to go down the inside for this race lead at the hairpin. He's going to go through Rappalucas, switching back here. Not enough. Jack goes through. AMS Tax and Jebel, AMSU trying to go side by side as well. Mr. Boker on the back of Rappalucas for P2. So we're about to be halfway into this race already. 13 runners left. It's a double Mercedes DNF. And, well, no, double Torosso DNF, what am I saying? Jack takes the fastest lap though. Ricochet is going down the inside of Beanick. He's going to go through in the front straight. He goes through into turn 1 and is ahead. So the ERS difference, Jack 27%, Rappalucas 67%, Mr. Boker the best out of them, 76%. check through the field who has the best ERS. I think that is actually GSR Axe, 97% for him. Well, 100% now for Resident Lord. So
yeah.
Obviously, that's what he needs to get Williams in the points, because Williams right now, where they sit 40 points behind, well, 37 the gap is now. And with Lucas not getting a pole position, that doesn't help in that extra pole point. Javelin Messu gets overtaken by GSR Axe, Rumbly Fungus, trying down the inside of Beanick. He's going to go down the inside here into the hairpin. He goes through. F1 driver as well. He's trying to go through around the outside. Side by side still, wheel to wheel. He's around the outside. This is where he was side by side with Nufsy Ryan last season. He's going to go through. Late braking there by F1 driver. He's ahead. A lot of overtakes there through that corner. Boker being one of the guys who's overtaken there a lot. Same with the last corner, turn 1. They've overtaken there a lot in that corner, and that is Beatnik pitting now. He's going to have to bet on the late race safety car at this point to get himself in the back of the points. And as well, good running positions by Rumbly Fungus, Ricochet, and F1 driver right now as well.
Rumbly Fungus was 10th last week, so he's sitting 5th in DRS range of Ricochet. It's actually looking really quick. We'll have to see where he's quicker throughout the course of the lap, because that does make a massive difference. Around here. There's F1 driver bunching up to the back of him as well.
I actually race engineered Rumbly Fungus and Polo and Jack in ABS Jarves League earlier this week. Got them 1-2 with Jack and Rapalucas, or not Jack, Jack and Polo. I don't know where I'm getting this from, but either way, Rumbly Fungus actually won a race there last week in Australia, but he's going to dive down the inside of Ricochet for P4. He's looking for his best finish today. He's going to shove his way through there. He goes through.
F1 driver coming through as well. Ricochet makes sure he holds on to the inside line.
Side by side there. It's F1 driver still ahead. Oh, almost contact there. That was close. And it's F1 driver actually ahead. Rumbly Fungus up into P4. Best of the rest, kind of. He is looking for his best result, as well as Resident Lord Beatnik making their first starts. Beatnik making a second tier 1 start, so he's still looking for his best finish. Boker, fastest lap by him, and he is on the back of Rapalucas for P2. Keep in mind if Jack's lag through this race, if it affects anyone, well, it goes on there with his lag if he goes on to win this race. And I think that's Resident Lord sideways and off at turn 1. Holo God's going to go through as well.
A second between the top 3. It's really whoever saves ERS better towards the end of the race will have the best opportunity. Jack is at a disadvantage, obviously, because he's having to defend and tow these cars along, and this is how he has to stay ahead through excessive usage of ERS. He just now needs to hope that Mr. Boker and Rapalucas start battling, but that doesn't look likely, as Rapalucas is closer to Jack than he is to Mr. Boker.
That's all because of the DRS they have, but Mr. Boker and Rapalucas are actually even in ERS. Jack is somehow holding them off on lower ERS. In this Rumbly Fungus F1 driver battle, 70% ERS for F1 driver. Everyone's around that 35-40% range. Well, Ricochet in that 62% range as well. F1 driver just closer to 80 now in that ERS.
GSR Axe on AMS tax through turn 15, now into 16. Oh, they touched, they collided!
Around goes
Big
Tax.
spin! He reset to the track, saw that. Uh-oh. Penalty incoming.
We've mentioned that before about resetting to the track, what that is. And what that does, you know, that gives you such an advantage. JMS Tax would have to spin it back around there, but you see he's now 3 seconds behind Resident Lord right there. How much of a difference that makes? Yeah. Obviously, I wanted to talk about some next season stuff. Beanick as well, fastest lap by him on the soft compound tires. I was going to say, resetting the track is a big topic for Season 3, for new rules and everything else. JetBlue picks up a penalty. I was going to say, it's a big topic for Season 3 of what it all does, what it all goes on, what all happens, because resetting on the track is a big advantage instead of just spinning it out, spinning it back around. Obviously, you lose a lot of time already from spinning out, but you gain a lot more time back from just resetting the racetrack. And you don't really, you don't really lose that time you should lose when you just spin around. You gain that time, which is a problem. But there's also a reset to track feature assist in F1 2020. Once the game is figured out, once we all get the game, once we figure this all out, everyone else will figure what goes on and what we're gonna do. Because Zandvoort, Vietnam, there's not been a schedule confirmed at all because of that. We need to test out the tracks first. We need to see, okay, how's this track? Okay, how's that track? Has this track improved? Has Belgium improved? What all goes on? Because there's been some tracks that have improved and some tracks that probably haven't. So it's a big topic and it's a big question for just a lot of the racing drivers. And it's a big question about Tier 4 as well. That'll happen with the recruitment going on, the off-season recruitment, the time trials. There'll be 4 tracks that you'll be able to do. So yeah, you'll be able to do your time trials in there. And I want to mention no sandbag and don't try to sandbag. I've been told about people trying to sandbag, so don't do that. Don't look good. And it just bucks up the tier placements a lot if you try to sandbag that. But Rumbly Fungus picks up a penalty as well.
Yeah, Rumbly Fungus got overtaken by F1 driver into turn 12 on the previous lap, but now it will be F1 driver depleting more of the ERS, and it allows Rumbly Fungus to save, so not all hope is lost for a 4th place finish today for the Haas driver.
Definitely not, and especially off the penalties. That's what the negative is about him. The penalties. He picked up a penalty just a lap ago. Anyways, Boker's much closer to Rapalucas this time. The ERS between them are pretty low, as so is Jack, because he's now below 10% on this back straight in turn 11. And yes, I did actually watch part of the USA race, part of highlights from last season to get some kind of insight on this race, to see, okay, this is what happened, this is what we need to talk about, and I did kind of, study that a little bit. So yeah. Anyways, 4 cars finish. Oh, okay. I was gonna speak about the front 3 kind of being a flashback to last season, because last season there was a 3-car battle for the win, NFC Ryan and the Renault, F1 driver and the Alfa Romeo, and it was DW and the McLaren. Who won in that battle? NFC Ryan and the Renault. Boker? Can he win in this battle in the Renault? Is it possible, Milo?
I don't see why it's not possible. I'm actually going to do a warning check because it's USA. Why haven't we done a warning check yet? Jack is on 2 warnings. Rapper Lucas is on 1 warning. Mr. Boker on 2 warnings. Hit those up on the same lap. So
check if they're collision or not, because that could have been collision.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
Think about that.
I'll
probably try to appeal those.
Lap 12. No, both exceeded track limit warnings for Mr.
Okay.
Boker. Same with Jack, and then I assume the Rapper as well. So
Jack's lag hasn't been
walking
as
on a
frequent. I
tightrope.
want to mention that Jack's lag has not been as frequent, but you just saw a little bit of a lag spike from Jack. Beware, this could affect Lucas and Boker if that happens, of course. With Jack. Resonate Lord is close to Polo. Resonate Lord goes by Polo for P10.
Mr.
That's
Boker is pushing Rapper through. Sorry to interrupt that.
He's telling him, come on, get going. You have 1 warning. me and Jack have 2. Come on! You can pressure him into a penalty. He's wanting that to happen. Because he knows if Jack gets a penalty, he just has to pass Rapalucas. The 2 champions from Season 1 and Season 2 in this list. 2 people in this Constructors Battle, Rapalucas and Mr. Boker. Keep in mind as well, Jack is yet to win a race as he comes to 8 laps to go. He's still in front of this race. He has the most laps led this season without a single win. Paulo got pits. He better be hoping for a late race safety car at this point. He knows it's possible, but he better be hoping for one. We saw how frequent the VSC was yesterday with lap 1, just big wing damage. No one out of the race, but big wing damage, and it caused a VSC. They're from Jack lagging, apparently, Mr. Boker's warnings, from what I'm being told. Oh. Well, we'll have to figure that out, of course, with, if they get appealed or what happens or what goes on, you know. I mean, he'll probably, try to appeal that if, he gets a penalty, which I wouldn't see why not to appeal. Polo God takes another penalty as well. Polo God said as well earlier to me, this is one of his worst tracks, so don't expect him to be running over the front. But his team at F1 driver, last season's winner, except for the post-race penalties, you know, obviously sitting there in P4, best of the rest right now, in a good position, if anything happens to the front three. Obviously, you mentioned how Jack's lag has been not as bad as some other people's this season, such as Sink, Arlane, Joseph, just to name a few people, because their lag this season has kind of been pretty bad, but Jack's not as bad. You can tell Jack's less frequent now, which is good. You'd like to see it that way. Well, right as I say that, of course, it lags.
Only our luck.
Max gets a penalty. Oh yeah, we love to curse things, don't we? Mr. Boker's close to Rapalucas with 7 laps to go now. Into turn 1, he's gonna late brake. You could tell he's trying to force Rapalucas into a mistake. This is what he needs to get to Jack. If he's within Jack, he can easily pass him on ERS because Jack is 30% less than Mr. Boker. Jack is trying to hang on for his first win while he's lagging again. Yellow flags. That's Grizzly Lord out.
That's where he was. That's where he lost the car earlier. That's gonna be a virtual safety car. Not the late safety car we were hoping for, but neutralizes everything. ERS saving crucially for Jack.
This is kind of what he needed as well. He's not in the 10% now. Now Jack knows from the VSC, you gotta take everything right. You gotta do everything right. You can't lose any time under this. That's what happened. He lost time in the pit lane in Germany. Obviously, Rapalucas is going to be trying to fend off Mr. Boker, but also challenge for this win because Rapalucas is looking for his 3rd win. Mr. Boker looking for his 8th win and would be the most all-time today if he gets that done. F1 driver looking for a good finish as well. And Rumley Fungus looking for his best finish. As you see, look at the gap they've closed like Jack. It's big.
7 tenths between the top 3 now. Mr. Boker understeering through the triple right-hander.
Not only Mr. Boker starting P18 and going to P3 right now, Rumley Fungus started P14 and he's going to P5 right now. Good for him so far in this race. 6 laps to go. Well, you watch this battle up front. I'm going to be right back quickly.
No worries. Let's have a look at ERS then. Jack is running on 40% as he switches it down to none through the S section, as we would expect. Not too much deployment needed there for straight line speed. We're not really seeing too many moves. Obviously, Mr. Boker taking a look down the inside at turn 1 on lap 20. I think it might have been last lap, lap 22. It's all going by so quickly all of a sudden, with 5.5 laps left to go. We'll take a look at the Rumley Fungus and F1 driver battle as well. That is still going on. Ricochet is just losing touch with the two, as Mr. Boker almost went down the inside of Rapalucas once again, as the top 3 condense into a 5/10 gap, half a second separating the top 3 in another super close race here. But USA, as down the inside goes Mr. Boker on Rapalucas, crucially gets the move done into turn 15, and at an unlikely corner, it does work if you're committed enough. He has done just that, and now Jack has got to defend from the champion.
Oh, Mr. Boker got up to P2. What? How do you overtake?
He did.
I may as well ask.
Turn 15 down the inside. Brilliant move.
Oh, wow. Now he's got to defend from this season's champion. And as well as last season's champion, Rapalucas. I've got food now, so I'm probably going to be making that many mistakes. And no, it's not spicy, Milo. I know you're going to ask.
Good one.
Polo picks up another penalty. He might be disqualified by the end of this race because of the penalties he has.
I'll take a look.
I've noticed. I was going to look at how many penalties he's got. He's got a ton.
3 seconds, 6 seconds, 9 seconds, 15 seconds, 21 seconds of penalties. 3 3-second penalties. Yikes.
Well, Jack has got to fend off the 2 champions of ARL to get his first win. He was denied in Germany, and that was a super clean move, as they'd say. 24 seconds of penalties. He's going to be disqualified.
Is he trying to be disqualified?
Well, he is
or
now.
Or is he just forgetting this corners?
He is now.
Yeah, now he is.
Now he is, yeah. Ooh, Rappalucas thought about the inside there, and it was not going to work. Only Fungus in the back of F1 driver. While Sam Seed is on the back of Axe as well for P7. Keep in mind, penalties come into play in this race. Jack with 2 warnings, Boker with 2 warnings. Four laps to go. You know how much Mr. Boker is a late breaker. He might try something on Jack pretty soon, but Jack's lag is kind of causing him to pull away a little bit. I've noticed that. Mr. Boker did get affected by Jack's lag. So,
whoa.
It's obviously a big question. Rappalucas is toward the back of him. Pologod's got another penalty. Again. You're definitely cutting the course now.
There we go.
That's our second disqualification from this race.
Wow, we got... Is that 9 now? Non-finishers.
Wow.
Oof.
Vinic and Tax battling for the last point as well. Remember, Tax is going to have 5 seconds because of the penalty he had. Jab already has 10 seconds from the last week. Keep in mind the race lead again. Boker, Jack, close between each other. We come to 3 laps to go this time.
Will Mr. Boker make another move into turn 15? Jack covers it off this time.
Bean goes for AMS Tax. Yeah, I was just going to say that because they switch back and forth per position. F1 driver picked up a penalty a lap ago in that battle with Rumbly Fungus. Ricochet's there, and Tax goes around!
Oh,
Tax spins.
It's not the first time. He doesn't reset this time. Two tenths. 1/10 through the S's.
I'm telling you, Jack's lag is gonna kill Boker. Jack's lag is gonna kill it.
Oh god.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Commentator's cursing coming. F1 drive's actually closed a little bit. Although it's got a penalty. Be quick.
If there's any penalty toward Jack's lag, which we mentioned before for Joseph Sink with how bad that was before races, I'm curious to see, does F1 driver take a podium out of this? Or does Rumbly Fungus? Or does Ricochet? Based off of penalties or anything? Curious to see.
Here comes Mr. Boker. He goes to the inside, the smallest gap possible they touch. Oof.
Mr. Boker, side by side again, sideways, and he's forcing him off the racetrack again, just like Germany, side by side, and they're making contact. Here comes Rappalucas. Jack around the outside. A little bit of contact
touch again.
Down
switch
the inside
back to
again.
Jack.
Jack is fighting for his first win. He's trying everything from the champion of Mr. Boker. Now, to win the Constructors' Championship today, if Rappalucas gets another penalty, or just a penalty in general, that could put him behind. If Mr. Boker wins this race, that's the champion.
Here we go.
For Renault.
Jack defends, he's got to pick his line. Good defending.
Rappalucas around the outside with Boker, side by side.
Here we go.
Into turn 2. Into the S's. Rappalucas ahead. He's side by side.
Unbelievable.
He goes ahead. He knows the Constructors battle is still on.
He goes around the outside. Woo. Mr. Boker thought about a Lewis Hamilton-esque move. Obviously, it was this corner.
To last season, and here comes F1 driver a second behind. It's a 6-car train for this win.
1.5 laps to go. Popcorn. No, I don't have popcorn. But
I have fries!
edge of your seat stuff.
Crisps!
Your fries! Woohoo!
Here comes Rapalucas for the race lead. Where does he go? He goes to the outside.
Outside!
Jack
Again,
has to
Jack
defend for the
defends
championship.
perfectly!
He has to defend for the championship contenders down the inside. He can't
they
defend this
touch.
one up. Jack off the racetrack back down the inside. Mr. Booker's there.
F1 drivers right on the back of this train, as with Rumbly Fungus, as with Ricochet.
Oh,
Unbelievable
contact
as they
between
touch.
race lead. They
And
touch. Here comes
Mr.
Booker.
Booker! Oh,
A bit more contact. They're side by side again.
he forces him off the track there.
Here comes F1 driver.
F1 driver down the inside.
Penalties will matter with F1 driver, but the thing is, he's going for a win on track. Here comes the final lap. Rapalucas leads.
Oh,
This ain't over yet. Mr. Booker
down the inside goes Mr. Booker.
This is huge for the championship with Mr. Booker being down in third. Here comes Rumbly Fungus as well. Ricochet in the back of them as well. A 6-car train for the win. Jack has one more chance to get to the race lead.
Oh, F1 driver just had a massive tank slapper.
This is for the race win, the
Big
final
turn,
lap. Jack first, Mr. Booker and Rapalucas for their 8th and 5th. They are
Say the
champions.
RS, Jack. Rapalucas is struggling as well, as with Mr. Booker.
Is Jack close enough for a move on this back straight? Not enough, I don't think. It might not be enough, but he's coming now in the slipstream.
It's coming.
Here he goes.
He's outside line.
Side by side in the back, Ricochet and Rumbly Fungus. Jack goes up the
Whoa.
track. Mr. Booker to the outside. Trying not to get attacked from behind, but where does Jack go? For this race lead, Jack dives down the inside. Rapalucas goes wide.
Rapalucas runs wide. Woo.
Contact made. Here comes Booker.
Oh, he's had to
Booker
back out on
trying.
the inside.
We saw a last lap move with that F1 driver last season. Do we see it again? Side by side it was. Now Jack's in the far corner.
Around the
Around the
outside.
outside. He's gonna go side
Photo
by side
finish,
to the line.
surely. He's run wide. He's run wide. Well,
It's
oh my goodness. Jack picked up a
Rapalucas
penalty
with
from
the
that.
win.
Wait.
But Jack picked up a penalty for illegal overtake. He ran off the racetrack. It's under investigation. Rumbly Fungus goes on the podium. Rumbly Fungus, best finish so far, but Jack gets a 22nd for it. Bit questionable. A bit questionable. Why a 22nd though from the game? And
What?
Phoenix had a jab. What? I'm thoroughly confused.
I don't know what to say.
Great finish though.
It's... Rapalucas celebrates in his cockpit with 3 tyres. Oh dear.
Yes, boys. Nah, Jack had a timing glitch at the end, but I kind of understand why. He, you see, every like time we were going round, I don't know if you guys saw it on stream, but he kept like lagging forward, like every like a snippet. He kept like lagging forward,
Yeah.
forward, and I think that's why he got the glitch in the end because he gained so much time through that. Like it was impossible to overtake him because he was just lagging in front of us. We like he was pulling away through his lag. I know that sounds stupid. So it's a bit unfair for all of us to have to race against that. Because, yeah, but the battle at the end was a madness, you know. I can't lie, that was pretty sick, the end there, but, you know. So,
I
it's a
can't
good
get
race.
Mr.
Where's
Booker,
everyone
Rumbly
else?
Fungus or Jack in here. Yeah, I can't get him because it won't let me.
Oh
Won't let
my
me
god,
press Y on them.
I'm so happy. Oh, that was my best
pressing
ever race,
Y.
I think. That was sick. Jesus Christ.
Milo, if you can get Rumbly Fungus, Boker, and Jack in here, that'd be great. I can't get him.
Yeah,
I
we'll
can't
do.
get him. Oh my god, what a
Oh
finish.
my god, I'm dying now. I'm dying. What a race. What a race.
That might be the closest finish yet.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like, you know,
If
let's have a look.
Jack gets an appeal.
Yeah, look. Oh, he had 20 seconds of penalties.
Yeah, from that.
Oh,
He's
incident
got
in the
one
last lap.
Got a bullshit penalty at the end.
That's not
What?
worth 20 seconds.
That should get removed.
No.
Should get
At least
removed.
not
What did you?
Shit.
What was it for?
I don't
No, it
know.
doesn't
For
show up.
that.
You didn't
I
get
don't
any
even
penalties.
know.
No, but to
Nah,
be fair,
but he
Jack,
said.
you
Nah,
were
but he
like.
said.
To be fair though, Jack, you were like
God.
lagging forward. Every time you lagged, you moved forward, and it was really like we were basically pulling away through that. What, James?
Yeah.
I put. You can no, but you know he was. I when we were behind him, he like lagging forward. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no offense, Jack, but like, it was kind of unfair to all of us. Like, we couldn't pass you because you were just lagging in front, and we were losing like a tenth at times. James, did we hit each other on the on the on the exit of turn one? What happened? Did we hit each other or? Yeah.
Milo, what is only to be described as a controversial race, though. A lot of controversy.
Just a bit.
From that.
Just a
I think more than just a bit, for sure. That was something else.
Oh, what a race, man! It's
Wow.
good to see.
Season 1
win.
flashbacks.
It was.
Yeah. Last corner.
Very well.
I love how it was like me, James, and Jack, like just in our own group, like 5 seconds in front of like F1 driver and all of them, and then in the last laps they were like right there.
What do you
And this
mean
is
America
why
shouldn't be on
this-
the calendar?
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is why this track should be on the calendar. I'm telling you, I love this place.
Just toxic Donny's getting penalties, really.
American bias. No,
It is a little bit, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being serious. It is a little bit,
what a
but
race, man.
still, this is an amazing.
I'd say the
racetrack.
same about Silverstone. It's all good.
Yep, I agree with that one actually.
But that's probably the race of the season or Silverstone. This was
Yeah,
pretty good.
one of them.
Jesus
sure.
Christ.
Phew.
Obviously, it's unfortunate.
Now,
I don't even. Yeah, go on.
Go ahead. Sorry. I was go ahead. You
Oh
go.
yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. Obviously, Jack got the penalty in the end, but I think in total, like he was gaining a lot of time when he like lagged forward. Like, I know obviously that's out of his control, but it's a little bit shit for us to try overtake him when
He should keep it anyway if he's driving.
What do you mean?
You see his driving on the last 2 laps?
Yeah, he was perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, it wasn't. If you see...
Yeah, it
my
was.
brain
What did he
flipped
do?
it. The squeezing. I was right past him, then he just left, then he like almost swiped me. It was shocking.
Well, we'll let the stewards decide.
Yeah, I think
Anyway,
clipped it. I think we asked.
Rappa Lucas, a win from you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, a win from you. Williams are still in that constructors battle. Hey, I think you gotta be happy about that after all that race. You beat Mr. Boker, you held him off. Those final laps were flashbacks of last season, and this time you were involved in like last season, in that front 3 battle. It became a front 6 battle at that point in the last few laps. How crazy was this race? And do you think this race should stay on the calendar for next season as well? Make sure you already.
So obviously, kind of vexed. Jack obviously took pole position from me, which, until those moments, I was like, yes, finally my first pole position in ARL, and then obviously I see the Pink Panther, just steal it from me. So yeah. Commiseration to myself, I feel sorry for myself. But good start. Just kept in front of everyone. And then obviously I passed Jack in the soft stint. He passed me in the medium stint after the safety car. Then he passed me back, in the medium stint. And then obviously I made a bit of a mistake on the exit of the the first corner of sector 3, the right-hander. And then James obviously set up a really nice move. At the time I thought it was dirty, but now that I think back, it was a perfectly fine move. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have a problem here. They're not gonna get a penalty now because the quality of the driving is so good that they don't get penalties anymore. So they don't really get penalties. I was like, when you're the third car, you basically can't overtake because the guy in front obviously has DRS, and then they hit me on the car in front, so you basically, it negates everything. So and then James was pretty quick in a straight line. He was probably using like 1-4 wings knowing him.
4-5.
Yeah, okay, well, fair enough, yeah. Did you have high tyre pressure? Is that it?
I have no clue.
Fair enough.
I don't even know myself.
So overall, and then obviously the last few laps, I saw that they went wheel to wheel all the way to the left side of the track, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to take all the way wide, and then just try get the cutback, which I obviously did. Then James had a bit of a shocking exit, because obviously he was wheel to wheel. And then we went wheel to wheel into the S section. I understand why he backed out because probably both would have crashed.
Yeah, I didn't want to fuck it up after being PhD.
Yeah.
But,
And then obviously I passed Jack when he made an error on the exit of that corner. And then, yeah, I just defended on the last lap. And then obviously at the end, we were wheel to wheel. I think he might have edged ahead, but obviously because of the whole jittering forward and gaining time on us, he got a penalty for that.
So then what did you think of the 20 seconds he got? I think the 20 seconds that he got from the game was a bit too harsh, but
Oh, that's a violation.
do you think
No.
do you,
That's
do you think though that the 20 well, what do you think of the last corner actually and the penalty given to him anyway?
No, well, I think to be fair, like I don't like 20 seconds is a violation. I mean,
Get my mic back,
20.
yeah.
He did not gain 20 seconds from it, but you know, I think he definitely should have got something for the way he was just like jitter forward, because like I remember there were some laps where he'd be like right behind him, and then he'd just jitter forward, and then you'd be unable to overtake. And you know, obviously that's not his fault, and you know I can completely understand why he'd appeal that, because obviously you don't choose your lag. But yeah, it was a little bit frustrating to drive like behind. And then in general, yeah, I don't think he deserves a 20-second penalty, but yeah, I don't think he should. I think third place would be all right. I think because realistically, he was never going to finish in front of. He was always going to finish in front of the guys behind. So I think if he gets third, I think that would be fair enough. Because I don't think he deserves to drop to like eighth because of a few like how to say like a few like jutters forward. But I also don't think that should go completely unanswered, because it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit dodgy.
Milo, I was told to say Craig Dawson says hi to you by the chat from Adam Fav. Either way, the constructors battle. I'm choking on
Jesus
food,
Christ,
so
mate,
Milo's
stay
the
at
only
home.
one.
Save the NHS.
No,
Save
I was choking on
lives.
food. I was choking on food. Milo wasn't the only one early this week at LDRL, if everyone remembers. But I was gonna say as well, the constructors battle ain't over yet. You still are closing in that gap with Renault. 33 points now. You know, if Renault has a bad race with Mr. Boker, anything can happen. How do you look at this battle, and how do you look at getting your first pole position at Brazil, a place where you took a podium with damage last season?
Fuck off. I definitely won't get my first pole position at Brazil, because I'm not good at Brazil.
Well, you might.
True, and but Reece just had a stinker today. Normally he'd be at the front of us, so I don't think there's really anything to get in. I think, to be honest, I feel quite happy with my performance, obviously, because obviously the winning is good, and I feel like I deserve to win that race, because you know, if it wasn't for the jutters, we probably would have passed them a lot sooner. But it was just literally impossible. It seemed to happen every time on the straight. It was just a piss take. Like you'd be gaining, and then he's just disappeared. Honestly, like, and obviously it's not as bad as Lane's lag. That is nothing compares to that. But it was quite bad today.
He's getting a new router.
Yeah, so I think
that lag though, that would have been.
Oh, everyone would have been violating him just because it's our lane. Yeah.
Oh
I
god,
don't
what's
think-
Adam messaged me? Fuck off.
Yeah, I think it's just it's the constructors battle. It looks good. Obviously, James is always on the podium. Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
So
Milo, you reckon?
I don't think we really have the facilities
game
to
off.
gain back 33 points. But you never know. Maybe DW can make a surprise appearance in the next race and take him out, and then we'll just get that Shazoo Shadow fella. He can race for us as well, and we can get a 1-2 and then.
Oh, someone's taking their disc out.
Yeah, I can't put FIFA in for some reason. It's not working. Oh, this is bollocks.
Oh, great.
Anyways, congratulations on the win. Don't feel like it for me, at least, because of all the last lap. I think you can agree with me. This is described as another USA last lap kind of controversy.
Wait, you think I don't deserve it?
No, I never said that. It just feels weird because of the finish. I mean, NUFC Ryan winning last season felt weird.
Well, I think, to be honest, we battled. and it was fun. But no, Ryan deserved to win last season. He was the quickest guy, and obviously F1 driver did lay big brake check. And then Dylan just Dylan did the Dylan. Obviously got spun out. But yeah, I think I should have won that race either way, because if it wasn't for his lag, I would have passed him like before Boker even got past me. But obviously we couldn't get anywhere near him because of it. And then yeah, you know, he's an assist. You know, the assists I think really helped out at the end there. Medium TC, obviously as Boker calls them, assist merchants. Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of a stinker, to be honest. But yeah, it's a shame for him to lose like that. But yeah, I'll take the win.
Yeah. Congratulations on the win, Milo Gaming. Do you have any questions for Rapalucas?
Oh, I do. So, obviously, Brazil last week. Nothing on the line really for the championship.
Please, let's just not.
In terms of the drivers' championship, I'm not on about the championship. It's not about the championship.
Oh, sorry.
But what would be an ideal race for you in terms of weather, who you're battling with, how many people you're battling with? Just if you were going to put together a dream finale for F1 2019, what would it be?
Boker starts last, gets taken out on the first lap, retires. Rapalucas has a race-long battle with F1 driver, comes out on top. No offense, Boker. You know.
If that happens, I mean,
That'd be interesting, actually.
Oh, and also, sorry, I missed something out. That CCRO science fella, if he finishes third, fourth, well, let me do the math. I think we still win constructors, right? Yeah, if he finishes third, fourth, or fifth, then that would be a dub. So
we need someone to take out Graham again.
I mean, he
Jab
always
can help with
crashes.
that.
Yeah, Jab's a G-star anyway. Yeah, so I think good. I'm obviously really happy to win today, and I don't think his penalty should be removed like completely, but I think it shouldn't be as harsh as it is, because, I mean, yeah, you know, you shouldn't get 20 seconds for a bit of lag, but you know.
Congratulations on the win, you guys. Or wins to your team. Again, should be interesting.
So you bringing it home?
In Brazil for you.
Yep, I've got it. Lovely.
Milo, you go to Mr. Boker, ask him a few questions, see what he is up to.
So,
Who's he
Make sure
waffling
God
to?
is included.
Mr.
I'm
Boaka,
just checking the
hello.
chat.
What do you? I know you're complaining a little bit about Jack's driving. Where exactly in the race do you think he was just being a little over aggressive? Because the battle overall was brilliant. It was brilliant to watch, but just where do you think he stepped the line a bit too much?
Lap 26. 27, I think, where I was fine. I saw the power with Rapper at the end. There was a bit of weird at the end. I was also with them, and I had to back out of the long right hander because I was. If I didn't, I would have been swiped. So, but I can't be asked to that because I got out of the way. Nothing happened. But yeah, it's just lap 26. His driving was absolutely shocking. But it's not really. Rather than not talk about that, it's just talk about the actual race. Because I don't really like talking about negative.
Yeah, so obviously you started from the back. You came through very quickly. So what inspired you to pit early? Just tier 2's undercuts yesterday? They were obviously really important, or is it just I can get past and I just need the clean air?
I knew that the undercut was absolutely overpowered as fuck, but I saw that no one was pitting, so I was like, alright, well, I said I was going to do lap 7, I was like, okay, no one's pitting, okay, I'm going to pit. And this is probably true, if the safety car wouldn't have came out, I would have been in the lead. Like, can't lie, but because I saw no one pitted again, I was like, what are they thinking? Like, surely someone's got over the undercut's overpowered at this track, but and then Jar binned it into the pit lane, I think, which I almost did because I was trying to switch to the mediums. It was putting me on the softs, and then so yeah, yeah. The undercut is just extremely powerful on this track, so that's why I decided to do that. And I knew I didn't want to just waste time trying to pass other people who are quite fast and I'll put up a fight.
Finally, what are your plans for next week then? Is it going to be another start of the back experience, work your way through, or are you just going to have a big
Yeah, I
send-off
enjoy it.
in style?
Yeah, I enjoy starting at the back. It's just, I like getting through
A
the
change.
field. Yeah, it was actually quite fun just passing people, just diving down inside of any given corner, which was an opportunity to get past. A lot of people broke really early, and so I know what I can do in Brazil. So I just know what a lot of people's breaking styles are like, so I can dive it down inside at some corners. But the nature of Brazil, it's a bit weird with you can't really dive it down inside and a few corners. So yeah, but I'm gonna start the back for Brazil. Why not? The constructors is on the line, but I know what I'm doing. I don't. Of course, if I get took out, then that's when it really gets critical. But I think I can go through the field without being took out. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna start the back for Brazil. Maybe a few others will as well, because I think most people's last race of 2019. So I think a lot of people just have fun, really.
Milo, any other questions for Mr. Booker?
No, that was 3. I'm proud of myself.
Gotta ask you, Mr. Booker. The dive bombs were great. The late braking was great. Turn 1, down.
Boys, sorry to interrupt. In case anyone's asked me any questions, I was away for the last few minutes. Just saying, sorry. I didn't ignore
nobody
your
did.
question. Okay, cool.
The first corner, the last corner, down where you passed about everyone really. The late braking where Jack was switching back with you. Turn 15, I want to say it was. You were passing in those areas a lot. You made great late braking dive bombs. Do you think those moves were very good yourself, or do you just think that's usual for you?
Well, of course, as I've won the championship already, I'm gonna be a lot more aggressive. I usually don't go for moves that aren't there, or are there when there's a risk to them. But as I've won the championship, I'm taking more risks, and I know quite a few people run ABS, which if you don't run
Just
100%,
merchants.
sometimes a few corners they break a lot earlier, and I've pretty much mastered some ABS. So I can break as late as I want, really. And yeah, the moves I had to time them right to perfection, really, because I didn't want to get turned in on. I didn't want to just give someone wing damage. I didn't want to I didn't want to go deep or anything. I think I don't know if people really put up a fight, because I got through a lot quicker than I expected. But yeah, it's just being aggressive, really, but knowing when to be aggressive.
Congratulations on P2, and good luck for next week. Jack, now to you. P3 for you. Well, if it goes that way. That's just what I'm saying, because that's what it might look like. Tell me about the last few laps, because you kind of won this race on track, if that's the way I could say it. But kind of, I'd say, passing off track. Obviously, Mr. Boker about that from the past. But the thing is, you passed off track. You got the 20 seconds from the game. Was that unfair to your standards, or did you at least deserve something for passing off track the way you did? Make sure your audio's
Well, obviously I don't think it's 20 seconds, but obviously I don't know what the stewards are gonna say about it, so, like, I'll be happy if it gets reduced, because it's not 20 seconds at all. But I don't know how the stewards are gonna say about it or anything. So I'll just have to wait and see what they'll say about it.
So, we've already talked to Mr. Boker, the aggressive moves with him. You know, you were trying for your first win. Obviously, anyone who's trying for their first win is going to try to defend as hard as they can. But, tell me about the, back and forth with you and Mr. Boker, and just Rappalucas, and, hopefully you don't lag while saying it.
Well, obviously it was a very good battle, like, a good battle between all three of us. And, obviously, I wanted my first win, so I just defended like as hard as I could to keep them behind, and then I tried to go for a last move around the outside, but it just I don't know. It just I wouldn't say it worked, but yeah, I don't know about that.
Now, into the last corner, why did you choose the outside? Because F1 driver made a move for the race win on track, on the inside of FC Ryan, on the inside of the last corner. You go into the outside this time. Why did you choose the outside to go around the outside of Rappalucas? Because, obviously, that's what got you the 20 seconds from the game. Why did you choose the outside, then, on the last corner?
Well, Rappalucas defended the inside, and there was no way I was getting up the inside without barging him off track. I probably would have got a penalty for that after. So I decided to go around the outside, so then I can get traction off the exit. Whilst Rapper's exit wouldn't be as good because he's took a tight. So that's why.
Oh dear.
Wait, he's lagging. He's lagging.
He's lagging!
He's lagging!
Quit fucking lagging!
Yeah, like I just tried to go around the outside and just see if it worked, but yeah.
When do you think a first win is coming for you? Because, obviously, lag played a part of that today. And, just in general, you were leading the race. You kind of, didn't win the race. You're good friends with Rumbly Fungus. You're teammates with him in LDRL. What would you think if he got third, at least, for him? And, do you think you at least deserve third as well?
Well, obviously it's not 20 seconds, but like, if I get it like reduced to like 3 seconds or something, or how much of it, I'll probably lose a load of positions because our battling contributed to like all the people behind us closing in. Like I'd say it's third. I'd get third, but like
I think it's fair he gets moved to third.
I'd understand why I've been taken from the win because I've overtook Rapper on the outside, but I don't think I like deserve going down like to like 6th or 7th or something just for that one move. Like I just couldn't. Like I'd say third would. I'd take third. I'd say.
So, don't be mad for me playing this. This is what, I think, all the drivers would have said if they saw your, well, who saw your lag would be saying.
Oh my god, why do I bother? Oh god.
But, you know, I was gonna say, congrats on P3, well, if it gets P3, but right now, congrats on a
P8.
good race for you. Yeah, we have to see it in P3. If it don't, Rumbly Fungus gets
Congrats
a
on a
podium.
P8.
Yeah, congrats on a P8, yeah. Milo, do you have any questions for Jack?
Not really. Well, oh.
You laggy muppet.
You laggy muppet. Yeah, good race day anyway. No questions from me. Everything's just Self-explanatory, really.
Milo, let's talk about that race one more time. Heading into Brazil next
Of
week, there's
course.
championships on the line for constructors for Tier 1 and drivers championship for Tier 2. That should all be interesting, but I want to focus on this race because Jack was going for his first career win in ARL. He could have had it in Germany, he could have had it in Britain. He had 2 chances to get it. That didn't happen. It didn't happen again today. If he doesn't get that removed, Rumley Fungus stays P3. What a story that would be for him.
I mean, I was really impressed at his battle and patience with F1 driver for that. What was
Can I just say,
4th and 5th? Yeah, go on.
if he's P3, that means that there's 2 drivers from outside the top 10 on the podium.
Oh, fun fact. But yeah, I think he drove a brilliant race, Rumbly Fungus. Nice to see him slowly getting back up to the levels we expected him to be. So hopefully he can carry that over to Brazil and then next season if he stays on.
Yeah, that'd be great to see. I was gonna say, you know, he's really improved his pace for sure. I mean, last week he was contending with Sam and all them for a position. He usually would be contending just barely behind that. He was in front of that. He was ahead of Tax and them. Now he was contending with F1 driver, who I wouldn't expect him to be challenging with, really. But he really did. He really impressed us today, I'd say. P3 for him as of now, Rumley Fungus. The podium, someone asked, it was Rapalucas, Boker, Rumley Fungus if that stays. F1 driver, I believe, was 4th. Ricochet was behind that 5th, but, Milo, what do you think about Jack's penalty that he got, the 20 seconds? I've definitely had a 20-second in the last corner at USA for a different reason. Not gonna go on to that, but, definitely a harsh penalty. What would you say about it? Should it be removed? Should it be reduced?
Definitely far too much. What was 20-second worthy in that move? But I don't think it should be removed fully because that is, if it's an illegal overtake, it's 9 times out of 10 a warning. So that would have been a 3rd warning, and therefore 3-second penalty instead would be fair. I think most people agree on that. Steward, non-steward, whoever. So I could see that being the most likely outcome.
Yeah, if you don't
the
mind
most
me
fair
cutting in
outcome.
there, sorry.
That's fine.
Sorry. So you see, you remember back to pre-season testing? Obviously, I know that was a while ago, boys, but
Oh wow.
obviously, I did the illegal overtake on James, and I did actually get my final penalty from that, if anyone remembers that. And I got a warning, obviously, for passing off the track, I think, because obviously I cut the second part of the chicane, and I got a warning for it like I should have, because obviously it was unfair, and yeah, so the whole point is I got a warning for it, but I don't know why Jack didn't get a warning when he went like all 4 wheels off the track to get by, but I don't know, I'm just saying, I just wanted to point out.
I was gonna bring up a good point actually. He was already on 2 warnings, and usually I know Jack, I'm good friends with you, but I'm gonna be completely honest here, not gonna be biased at all. In that situation, you're on 2 warnings. The 3rd warning, you get a penalty.
Well, that's unusual.
He extended the track. Well, I mean, okay. He extended the track completely off the front corner. He just completely didn't care about track limits in the front corner on the outside lane there for him. He completely gone off the track, deserving of a 3 seconds right there. But in any situation, you get a 5-second for legally overtaking and gaining a position for it. Why the game handed out a 20-second penalty was because it was an illegal overtake in the first place, and it was, in general, as well, a penalty deserving for going off the track. I mean, in time trial, you go off in that area, you extend the track, you get an invalidation. That's the way it goes. 3 seconds worthy, passing off the track, 5 seconds worthy as well. He won the race on track. Was it deserved? No, because he passed off track. That's not the way it should go. But Jack at least deserves to have that reduced for sure, in my opinion. Definitely deserves at least something with it. Just the 3 seconds or 5 seconds not to be reduced or something like that. But it's not my decision. It's just what the stewards decide with me. So let's figure out how that goes. Anyways, Milo, what do we expect into Brazil after a crazy race today? Flashback to last season as well. Wow.
A crazy race. Not much was on the line, and it just sort of reminds me of real life, where, for example, USA, that was a decent race. Brazil as well was even better. Absolute classic. With the whole Ferrari drama, the whole Albon drama, and the whole Gasly sign stuff. So, wouldn't be surprised if we see more surprise podiums like Rumbly Fungus. Obviously.
Oh,
Pick it
that
up.
one's had a bit of a stinker.
He lagged.
I would just like to say, obviously, GG to Rumbly Fungus, you know, first podium. Obviously, probably most underrated guy, I'd say, in the league.
Yeah.
Next to probably Jack is also very underrated. I mean, your pace is insane, mate. And Ricochet as well. I think those are the three most underrated Donnies or the guys, whatever, in the league. Yeah, in the league. Obviously, the most overrated drivers, I think myself. Just overrated, man. I'm a stinky driver. I've never won a race. Never had actually, I've won a race, but I've never had a pole position. Just don't have the pace. Every race is lucky. Come on, let's be honest. Just absolute pure luck.
You know what I was actually going to bring up? It's funny because you've got 5 wins now. Your dad has 5 poles, but you've yet to have a pole. He's yet to have a win. Think about that for a minute. Think about that.
It's interesting. I mean, maybe we can do a little switcheroo. Maybe he can win in Brazil, and then I can get pole position.
Ooh. I'd like that. I'd like that. That'd be
I
cool.
think Reese will get pole if he doesn't try no OBS.
Yeah, we'll have to find out what goes on.
Just inevitable.
Hopefully Miles not dead again, so we can talk about Brazil. Probably batteries cut out again, I'm guessing, or something. Anyway, Brazil next week. Championship decider for Tier 2. Championship decider for the Constructors for Tier 1. Tier 3 is all decided, that's all done. So, all these Tier 3 drivers can just go have fun next week. Tier 2, they have stuff on the line. Kagoda and Pluto. Oh, that's an interesting rivalry we'll talk about later on, and probably in the podcast later this week. Tier 1, though, Rumbly Fungus, if that stays, that's his first podium. That's impressive. He's probably the most underrated, and I'll be honest, after Australia, I believe it was his first race, France was. After running in the back, midfield, I mean, he has improved his pace so much. If he gets that podium, he deserves it. Well deserved for him, for sure. I was, race engineering him in another league as well. Him and Jack came 1-2. ABS Jarvis League it was, at Austria. So, those two came 1-2. Nice puncture by Danny Scattered as well. But, you know, either way,
Yeah.
That's the thing. So underrated, Ricochet and Rumbly Fungus are for sure. Those two, I expect to have a podium again. At least sometime in the next future. Next game, possibly, whatever goes on, who knows?
Mate, you're so good at maths. I just saw pi. Mate, I am blown away. I am absolutely blown away. You know, I don't know if that's clever.
Huh?
So Milo, what do you expect into Brazil then? One final thought from you before we...
Yeah, obviously with Mr. Bogus starting at the back again, I think it'll be somewhat similar to USA. The track limits aren't necessarily easy. You got turn 2, very easy to just cut that inside curb. You've got, was it turn 4 on the outside, turn 5 as well. Gets very, very strict there sometimes. In terms of first lap collisions as well through the S's, that'll be probably mental. But yeah, I don't see why it can't be a thrilling finale to what has been a game full of memories. We'll say that.
For sure. And a lot of people...
Stinky memory, Dave.
A lot of people's last league race for F1 2019 will be next week. In fact, I just want to bring up one fun fact before we end the stream. Brazil last season was the last race before the new safety car patch update. If anyone remembers how old that was ago.
Oh my god.
Everyone is going to remember the safety car patch.
That'll be
update
well
for
back.
sure. And that was the last race before you, Milo, came in as well to Tier 1 to commentate.
Brilliant.
That was the last race before that happened, so... Interesting fun facts for Brazil. A championship finale we'll love to see. It'll be all out. The championship's decided for the drivers, but the constructors is still on next week. Join us for Tier 3 on Friday. Join us for the podcast later this week. We'll see you guys then. And thank you guys for watching.